Hey, you clicked on my video. Appreciate it. Now be sure to like the video and subscribe to the page.
Look, I'm an LSU Tiger. I mean, I probably will be forever. So I want to see this program continue to be successful.
Long enough to cover the subject and short enough to keep it interesting. Welcome to Out of My League. I'm Nick Diaz. Perception is reality, right? Wrong! That's one of my least favorite popular sayings. Perception is reality. No, perception is not reality. Perception is your interpretation of reality. See, Kyrie Irving's perception is that the earth is flat. Kyrie Irving's perception is stupid. Now, turns out I may be as well, because I have a problem during Bama week, or at least Bama games the last few years. See, every year, I have a really hard time trying to decide if the matchups I'm looking at on the field are actually favorable for LSU. Are they favorable? Or is it just me wishing and hoping that they are? Is my perception diluting the reality? In other words, am I being a giant homer and I just can't even realize it? So for this LSU-Alabama game, here's what I mean. LSU's defense facing Bryce Young and Alabama's offense, okay? I think I see bad play calling by Bill O'Brien, the offensive coordinator. I mean, it's just a lot of backyard football and stuff like that, and I think LSU can take advantage of that. But, you see Bryce Young just pulling a rabbit out of his hat because that's just what he does over and over and over again. Now, you could say, well, Nick, LSU's defense is really that good to stop it. Okay, I think so, but LSU did give up 35 points to Florida. Yeah, but look, one of those was special teams muff near the end zone, and then they scored, and then the other one was a freak scramble by Anthony Richardson. Okay, I get that, but you still gave up a lot of points in the fourth quarter to Florida's one-dimensional offense. So is it really a fluke, or is it just really real? Alabama's wide receivers aren't that great this season, Nick. They're average. But, okay, they don't have to be great. They just have to be better than LSU's defensive backs. LSU's defensive backs have been susceptible to good wide receivers all season long. I mean, when you really think about it. Now, when LSU has faced bad wide receivers like Mississippi State or, even some of Florida State's wide receivers or Auburn, yeah, they've looked really good. But when you play Ole Miss, when you played number 4 for Florida, who was a real speedster, gave you some problems. And when you face Tennessee, it's been suspicious. I gotta say, it's been really suspicious. Take it to the other side of the ball. Are Alabama's defensive backs really susceptible to the pass this season? Or did Alabama just have trouble with one really good wide receiver from Texas and the great offense that Tennessee is having this season? Which is it? Now, you can sit here and tell me, Nick, LSU scored 45 points the last 2 games. They're going to move the ball against Alabama. You're telling me that LSU isn't the second best offense Bama has faced this season? Okay, LSU may be. LSU may very well be. But on the flip side, Ole Miss and Florida's defenses are one of the worst in the SEC. They're horrible, in fact. They have no size or speed comparable to most SEC defenses. Did you see what Jimbo Fisher's offense with a true freshman quarterback did against Ole Miss's defense last week? Now, did LSU dominate those defenses like an LSU team is supposed to? Yes, they did, and give them credit for doing so. But at the same time, how good really is this LSU offense? Are they really that much improved? See, this notion about Alabama's defense, specifically Alabama's defensive line, not being as good as they usually are, that I refuse to believe. Okay, they looked bad against Tennessee's offensive line. Everyone has. Everyone. They really have not looked that bad against everyone else. And the whole thing about, Will Anderson is not statistically having the same season like he did last year. Yeah, no shit. Because everyone is running away from him and double teaming him. It's like, Richard Sherman after his dominant year, the year they won the Super Bowl. Well, he wasn't as good statistically the next year. Yeah, no shit, because nobody was throwing to that side of the field. That's how it works with a dominant defensive player. Oh, and by the way, Will Anderson still leads the SEC in tackles for loss. Again, you don't have to be as good as you were last year. You just have to be better than the team you're facing this year, every week. So, having said all of that, let's assume for a moment that it's all true. In other words, let's assume that all the negative things about Alabama and all the criticisms are actually maybe not as bad as we think. Maybe Alabama in those spots are better than we actually think. LSU can still very much win this game, despite all of that. They still can win this game. I truly believe that because all LSU really has to do is run the ball against the interior of Alabama's defense and keep a good tempo to neutralize Will Anderson and Dallas Turner from dominating LSU's 2 true freshman tackles on the outside. And if you do that, then that will allow Jaden Daniels to get going on those read options and then give him time to attack Alabama's defensive backs in the passing game. Now, even if Alabama's DBs are not as bad as we think, especially with Eli Ricks coming back, it doesn't matter because LSU's wide receivers are talented enough to make plays on just about anybody in the country. They just need a chance. LSU has to run the ball in the interior of their defensive line. And also, LSU, you have to start fast, okay? Which you haven't done all season yet. Actually, how about this? I don't even ask you to start fast. Just don't start slow. You don't even have to start fast. Just don't start slow. Same with special teams. I'm not asking for a dominant special teams performance. Just don't make any horrible screw-ups. My bar is set low. If you do those things, I think you should be okay. Now, on the defensive side for LSU, look, you know what it is. LSU has to stop the run, contain Bryce Young. Stop the run, contain Bryce Young. All right, we've seen teams like Texas do it for a time, and I think LSU can do that. I think they can. I think LSU's offense can run in the interior of Alabama's defensive line. But that's what I think. Here's what I know. Bryce Young is better than Jaden Daniels. Now, what's been going around the media circles and the internet lately is something that's really pissing me off to no end. Quarterback stats. I hate quarterback stats with a passion. So, to prove the point, let's do a blind resume test really quickly. Quarterback A and quarterback B. Quarterback A has 66% pass completion. Quarterback B has 69% pass completion. Nice. Quarterback A has 1,900 yards passing. Quarterback B has 1,800 yards passing. Quarterback A has over 130 yards rushing. Quarterback B has over 500 yards rushing. Quarterback A and quarterback B both have 21 total touchdowns on the season, but quarterback A has turned the ball over more, 3 interceptions. Quarterback B, only once. Well, who's the better quarterback? Well, based on the statistics, quarterback B. You know who quarterback B is? Jaden Daniels. Quarterback A is the Heisman Trophy winner and projected top quarterback in this year's NFL draft and maybe the best quarterback Nick Saban's ever had, Bryce Young. This is exactly why I hate stats. That is the perfect example of why stats are for losers. I hate it. An LSU fan, you cannot sit here, tell me that you would take Jaden Daniels over Bryce Young. You just can't tell me that. I refuse to accept that answer. That's bullshit. Now, does it mean Jaden Daniels is not having a good season? No, of course not. He's having a great season. I'm glad he's doing well. He is right now, but here's the thing. Half of us were ready to bench him 3 weeks ago. So this is what I know. You know what else I know? Both offensive lines for LSU and Alabama are going to have a hard time in this game. They really do. And specifically, the matchup does not favor each offensive line. They will both play great defensive lines and great defensive fronts. See, there is a truth about football that I will never turn my back on whatsoever. Whoever wins the line of scrimmage probably wins the game. And if neither team's offensive line wins the line of scrimmage, well, then what does the game fall on? The quarterback. And the great ones find a way to win you the game. And who has the better quarterback that has proven to do just that? Alabama. They have that. Maybe the best Saban's ever had or will have. If you don't trust either offensive line, then which quarterback do you trust more? I trust Bryce Young. And I think that's a reality that we all cannot deny. and Alabama wins this game 31-24. Thanks for listening to Out of My League. If you like what you heard, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Or follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok in the description link below.